This month on The Spark, our theme is broadcasting new opportunities for hope. We'll learn more about an organization improving the quality of life for HIV-affected individuals and their families by providing high-quality early childhood education and social services. An inclusive community where people of all ages and ethnicities come together to pursue fitness, the arts, youth programming, and more, and a cluster of radio stations using the airwaves to power the good. We'll also share a special moment from our Spark Awards 2018.
Just like having relevant and accurate information is necessary to make sound hiring and lending decisions, being engaged in our community is important. DataFax is proud to support the positives and be a sponsor of The Spark.
Lipscomb & Pitts Insurance is honored to serve the Memphis community for over 60 years. We've always focused on supporting our community and believe in promoting the positives, encouraging engagement, and leading by example. Lipscomb & Pitts Insurance is proud to be a presenting sponsor of The Spark.
Additional funding for The Spark is provided by Christian Brothers University, Mueller Industries, YMCA of Memphis and the Mid-South, Meriton, United Way of the Mid-South, MyTown Movers, MyTown Roofing, MyTown Miracles, and by SERVS.
Ever been excited by a new idea? Inspired by watching someone lead by example? When we talk about creating change, we start by sharing the stories of everyday heroes making a difference in their own way so we can learn and do the same. This truth is the power behind this show, which is focused on business and community leaders who are leading by example to give back, fuel change, and create new opportunities for the Mid-South. I'm Jeremy Park, and this is The Spark. They're an organization improving the quality of life for HIV-infected individuals and also their families. I'm here with Betty DuPont, Dr. Betty DuPont, with Hope House, and providing hope. Amazing what you're doing, but give us a little bit of history for Hope House.
Well, Hope House was founded 25 years ago by the Junior League. At the time, there were very sick children and very sick women infected with HIV. And the purpose was to allow women to have a chance to get medical care and rest for themselves while their children were well taken care of by others. But then the antiretroviral drugs were developed, and it changed the way we live with HIV. So now our children are not just surviving, they're thriving and preparing for kindergarten and for life.
And so you do a lot at Hope House, and there's all sorts of support services, and especially the programming for the kids. So give us a little bit, let's go ahead and dive in. So let's talk about the kids. How do you take care of the kids? Because you do a lot to take care of them.
They're the fun part.
Yes.
We're a preschool and daycare for children 6 weeks to 5 years of age. And as I said, we prepare our children for kindergarten and for life. And we're nationally accredited, so the activities we have every day at Hope House are the best practices we know for early childhood education. And that's exciting. But we found over the years that our children have these families that have all kinds of issues besides HIV, extreme poverty. So we started housing programs, we started classes in eradicating poverty. We have support groups, individual therapy. We also have play therapy. Shelby County has the highest rate of children being expelled from preschool of any county in our country. And we were not immune to that statistic, and so we started a play therapy program. And the time we've had our play therapy program, no child has been expelled. Wow. So that's a wonderful, wonderful feeling.
How many kids overall, when you talk about on a typical day basis, how many kids are going through the program at this point?
We have a max, we have 33 children, which is our max for staffing. And we have 4 in our infant room, 9 in our toddler, and 20 in our preschool. So it's not very big, but it's very intensive.
Yeah, but I say very focused. Walk us through a typical day, because I mean, obviously, as you said, you cover a lot of bandwidth. So walk us through what a typical day is like at Hope House.
Well, the staff are the first to arrive, and then the children. They usually start arriving between 7 and 7:30 because many of our moms go to work or go to school. So we have them, and then our adults come a little bit later at 9. We have with the support groups. We have a food pantry, and things are going on and exciting. During playground time, you hear the musical voices and laughing of the children outside, which is wonderful. And then in our adult house, you hear sometimes crying and sometimes concerns about what's going on in their lives and the challenges that they are facing.
Talk about some of the stereotypes and stigmas that you're able to break down, because I think it's, you're seeing it on all levels. You're seeing the youth and the enthusiasm and the brightness, and as you mentioned, you're also seeing some of the tears and the struggles. So talk about, from a public perception here, breaking down some of those stigmas and stereotypes and things that you have a chance to be able to see the real world, the real impact, the human impact on both sides of the spectrum.
Well, people are still afraid that they'll get AIDS or HIV by hugging our children or our adults. 2 years ago, I tried to hire a preschool teacher, and I went through 4 different women who were bachelor's and master's prepared individuals who were afraid to come and even apply for the job at Hope House once I told them what we're about. So the stigma is still there. It always amazes an adult when I hug them. You know, they still expect to be shunned, to be pushed away, and that's not there. One of our purposes is to say, I've changed diapers, I've been spit on, I've been pooped on by babies, all the things that a daycare worker does. You just don't get HIV that way. You don't get it from casual contact. People can cry on, you don't get it from their tears. It just doesn't happen that way. So people should never be afraid of someone who has HIV. They're just like one of us, and the person next to you could have HIV and you not know it. You just don't get it that way.
Nice. And I think those are extremely important things to dispel and to put out there for the public. Share kind of some of your bright, what puts a smile on your face, kind of some of the bright moments, because as you said, you get to see the really bright, with the kids, and you also deal with some difficult, but what puts a smile on your face? When
we have a child who is very shy and withdrawn, and he or she doesn't want to come to school, and they cry and they couch in the corner because of what the experience they have in their lives. It could be abuse or neglect, but they come to us and they're shy. And then over time we have such wonderful, wonderful teachers. They come out of their shell and they're social. They enjoy their fellow classmate. They enjoy the adults who come in and read the stories to them, and that blossoms. For our adults, they're not very different. Again, they're shy and reticent to interact because of what they've experienced, maybe abuse in their own lives, or being shunned by their families. We have people, when they eat with their families, don't eat on china. They only eat on paper plates because the family doesn't want them to eat on their china or use their glassware. So when the adults come to Hope House, they have the same experience. They blossom, they smile, they realize this is a place where I can be accepted and I can flourish and be loved and change some of the things that I've experienced in my life.
Nice. How can we help?
Well, we have lots of ways to help. We love our volunteers. We have a program called the Buddy Up program where we pair adult men with boys and adult women with girls, and they come once a week to work with our children. Right now we have several yards full of weeds. We could definitely use someone to mow our grass. We can always use that. That's wonderful. We have special events throughout the year. We have mentors for our adult clients, so there's all sorts of ways. And of course, money is helpful as well. It helps provide our salaries, so there are many ways you can help.
Well, when you think too, just back to the food pantry and some of those other things, is there's plenty of things that we can do, like you said, just simply mowing the lawn and helping out. You think of it as a house, like what can we do to help provide more hope? And so there's a lot of easy ways that we can help.
Yes, there is.
So where do we go? So website, phone number, social media, where would you direct us?
Website is www.hopehousememphis.org. We are on Facebook and Twitter and all that, so there are lots of places. Our phone number is 901-272-2702, and extension 215 will get you our coordinator of volunteers.
Well, Betty, I greatly appreciate all you do, and thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks, Jeremy. This helps change the face of HIV, so thank you.
They're an inclusive community where we can enjoy fitness, the arts, youth programming, and more. We're here with the Marketing and Communications Director for the Memphis Jewish Community Center, Ashley Jamison. And let's start. Memphis Jewish Community Center, amazing complex, full of life, art, fitness, fun, so much. But how do you describe the Memphis Jewish Community Center when people ask you, where do you work and what do you do? How do you just describe all that goes on?
Well, it's a place for everyone, and there is so much to do, whether you're 1 year old or a senior. There's so much to do, so much for everyone.
And talk about, so let's kind of start, where are you located? Let's start there with the basics.
Sure, we're in the heart of East Memphis. We're on Poplar between Massey near Kirby, and we are on 24 acres. People don't know it's usually that big, but we go all the way back from Poplar to Quail Hollow, huge facilities.
And so let's start with the fitness and kind of the water park, and there's a lot there, but describe that side of things.
Sure. Right when you walk in, you'll be greeted with smiles. There is a state-of-the-art fitness center. You go in the back, and there is, yes, a water park. We have adult water slides. We have a lazy river. So much to do back there. And then we have a full theater, social hall. We have a full school there. So Big facilities, a lot going on.
And talk about the cultural arts programming, because this is a big piece of it, is not just the fitness and the fellowship and the fun, but really using it as a chance to be enriched, to pour in.
We have a huge cultural arts department and also a Jewish living and learning department, and both of those do different family programs. Cultural arts has a lot coming up. There's an empowered women's luncheon that we hold every October that focuses on women, and this November we have a Jewish theater group coming, so we're really excited to be having them at, like I said, our theater, but they're always bringing in something. We usually call it a literary and cultural arts series where we do things throughout the year, so a lot of fun stuff coming up.
And membership driven, but this is something that is really open to everyone. So all faiths and skin colors and everything known to mankind. It's a very inclusive community.
Yes, really all of our programs are open to everyone. A lot of people don't know that, but you don't have to play a member for your son to play T-ball. You don't have to be a member to attend our Jewish Film Fest. We really have both member and non-member pricing for all our programs.
And talk about how kind of the underwriting works, because there are the memberships and you have families and individuals, and so walk us through some of those details.
Sure. It's really, we have kind of different categories for everybody. So there's a category for college age kids or young adults or families, seniors. So there's different price categories for everyone. Being a member is definitely, you get to use the water park, of course, and you get discounts on all those different programs. So it really benefits to be a member throughout the year.
So here's your chance to kind of raise awareness, but give us maybe one or two things that everyone should know, but they probably don't know about the Memphis Jewish Community Center.
I think people think that we are for the Jewish population, and I want to, I think it's important to know that we are open for every type of family in the heart of East Memphis. I think there's different programs that you can look for on our website that people don't know about. We have a class called Rock Steady that's for Parkinson's, people battling Parkinson's disease. Like you mentioned, the cultural arts, people don't know we have the Film Fest. So I think there's so much going on and to explore, whether you come in and get a tour or get on our website, but there really is something for everyone.
So what are your favorite parts?
I have a background in ballet, so I do love, we had a dance group this past year, and I do love art, cultural arts. It's bigger and better, and then my children go to school there and involved in all the T-ball and sports, so I think the youth programming gets to my heart. There's so many smiles and laughters and just so many kids running through the halls every day, and that's my favorite thing to see.
And carry that forward, because youth programming is extremely robust in terms of the offerings and whether it's summer camps and the school. I mean, give us an idea, dive in a little bit deeper with the youth programming.
Sure. Our summer camp just came to an end, one of the biggest we've ever had. So it is growing, all different types of kids there, and of course they get to use the water park every day. But we also have specialty camps, pottery camp, theater camp, circus camp. When your kid has a certain interest, whether it's Legos or soccer, you can kind of find those specialty camps. Then we carry that throughout the year. We have after-school programming that is just phenomenal. Something for everybody, T-ball, sports. We have ballet lessons at the J, really something for everybody. And then the school, there's a lot of younger youth programming because of the school. A 3-year-old can take yoga if they want to at the JCC.
That's cool.
So just different things for all different ages of youth.
And then carry that forward in terms of how we can help, because obviously, a great opportunity for us to send our kids to the camp and the school and to be a part of the cultural arts programming, but how can we help? How can the public help?
I think everyone needs to come visit and see it, and I think that you will fall in love with it. And I think through that, you're supporting a local community center, and that is helping us, is showing your support in that way. We want you in our doors. We want you part of programming. So just seeing what's going on, come and give us a visit, and you'll start to be a part of the family.
Yeah, take a tour. That's the
Take a
easy thing.
tour.
Come see it.
Yeah.
So where do we go? Website, phone number, social media?
Sure.
How do we access all this amazingness?
All right, website is www.jccmemphis.org. Very easy site to get through. We have it broken down by fitness, and so if you're interested in swim lessons, you can visit aquatics. Everything is on there for you to see. We also have a Facebook page and an Instagram that really shows our programming well.
Well, Ashley, thank you for all you do for coming on the show. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Jeremy.
The Spark Awards annually recognize and celebrate individuals and organizations that have made outstanding contributions to the community. This year's recipient of the Nonprofit Award for organizations with budgets greater than $5 million is Meriton.
Meriton is a health and social services nonprofit. We were founded in Memphis in 1961, and we currently operate now in 4 states. We provide services to people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We provide services to seniors, including in-home services such as supportive home care, also skilled home care nurses and therapists. We have a senior employment job retraining program, and we also provide foster care. What's really exciting for us is everything we do is based around helping people remain independent in the community as long as possible, whether that's children, whether it's seniors, anybody along the continuum. We provide services cradle to grave. Something that's really exciting for us that we've been doing for the last 2 or 3 years is services to victims of elder abuse. It gives us the opportunity to give back and provide supports to members of our community that have been here for a long time and are truly the most vulnerable.
And why is independence so important? Because there's a lot of benefits to what you do that have a ripple effect in the community.
Right. Well, as people remain in the community, our goal is to keep them independent so they can continue to participate in the community. The more people you have working and engaged, the more you're giving back to the community. And our goal is that if you can be at home, most people prefer to be at home. Success looks like a young man coming out of foster care who is now going to the University of Memphis, who hopes to ultimately go into social work and give back to the community. Our receptionist is a success story. She went through our job retraining program and is in her 70s and is working full-time, greeting other seniors as they come through the door. That's a success story. We have a new location. We rehabbed an abandoned building that had been vacant for about 7 years at the corner of Thomas and Adams. We wanted to be closer to the people we serve. A lot of our seniors who are part of the Title V Senior Job Training Program have to utilize public transportation, which can be a little bit of a challenge. And I feel like we've done a lot to kind of spruce up that little stretch of Thomas. It's hearing the stories from the seniors or the children. It puts a smile on my face when we can be more engaged in our community. I get really excited when it's not only the people that we're providing and supporting through our services, but getting other community members engaged, and especially the youth that are our leaders of tomorrow, and having them ingrained in nonprofit early on and letting them see how important it is, the services we do in the community. We are here to support them. It's not about us, it's not about our agency, it's not about the people that work there, though without them we couldn't do what we do. But to know when I go home at night that there are other people at home that are there that feel safe, that feel secure, that feel empowered, and that feel cared about, that's what puts a smile on my face.
They're a local cluster of radio stations that's using their airwaves to give back and make a difference. We're here with Cumulus Media Memphis. We have the VP Market Manager, Morgan Bohannon, Operations Manager, Danny Bruns, who you can also hear on 91 The Max. But let's start with Cumulus. 4 stations here locally, obviously Cumulus National, but give us some perspective for Cumulus Media Memphis.
Kicks 106, country brand. 98.1 The Max, our rock brand. 98.9 The Bridge, our female-based AC brand. And then 103.5 WRBO with Steve Harvey that services the African American Life Group.
And so talk about Cumulus nationwide, and then obviously you mentioned the stations here, but the commitment to community.
90 markets across the country, 450 radio stations, give or take one. I think we brand ourselves to each local market and try to satisfy the demands of that market as need be. And in Memphis, we're fortunate that there's no lack of need. So we have 4 brands that are distinct, and we like to build them as having a diverse audience without duplication. And that gives us an advantage to working with nonprofits because we can reach across every socioeconomic barrier there is known to mankind.
Nice. Talk about it, Danny, from your perspective, is stepping in and from the operations side, making sure that obviously everything is playing correctly and on time and all that kind of stuff, but being able to be a voice in the community. I mean, you yourself are on the radio, so talk about it from that perspective.
I think that's what I find most important, and people forget. As operations manager, we have a great team, and so I get to look more in depth of getting us involved in things that we need to do, more so than the overall operation each day. And we've got a lot of platforms out there. There's a lot of different entertainment and different places to get it. That radio is the one that has the immediate factor. If something happens, we can tell you about it immediately. And we have the ability to go out into the community locally and make Memphis better. We use our corporate office for tools and things that we can use for every radio station, but we have the ability to keep it right here in Memphis and help here, and that's what we try to do.
So let's talk about philanthropically tied in with a number of nonprofits, everything from Radiothon, Agape Child and Family Services, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. There's a lot. Let's start with Ronald McDonald House. I think that's a big one that you're very well known for. So talk about the partnership with Ronald McDonald House.
The partnership with Ronald McDonald House preceded me at Cumulus, so Danny has been more involved in that from day one, and we had a really exciting project last year that I'm sure she can give you a much greater detail on.
Yes, and it's been going on a lot longer than I have, but the Max team has been behind it 100%. It's one of the few, I would say, traditions that have changed over time, but not the vision of Radiothon. And traditionally, it got started of just, let's see how long we can go, and we're not getting off the airwaves till we hit this. And then it evolved into 2 days. And everyone over at the Ronald McDonald House and us over at Cumulus looked at it very closely this past year and saw why are we doing this 2 days? What's working, what's not working? And this past year, we narrowed it down to 12 hours on a Friday and raised the most money ever, $450,000 in 12 hours.
Wow.
And it was just I'll tell you, there's a big thing that I like about our team, that you can get on the radio or television or whatever, or on the internet, social media, and ask people to do things that you want to do, but unless you completely believe in it and put yourself into it and be a part of it, that's what people hear. That's what our listeners hear. That's what Max people love. They know that Danny and the Jar are sitting in that house 100% dedicating our time for them to help donate, and people who just show up aren't going to succeed, and we don't just show up.
Talk about Agape Child and Family Services.
That one was really hard for us. Quite frankly, David Jordan and I are friends, and the ability to talk about domestic abuse on the radio is so difficult. It's difficult for us to talk about that in the solidarity of our own home, much less on the radio, you know? It's such a private issue. It touches so many people, though, that we felt like just from an educational perspective, it would be worthy of us doing something with them. And we just ended a 30-day campaign where we raised some money for them, but we also saw the needle move on people understanding what Agape is and what their mission is and how they satisfy a need in this community.
Yeah. Share from your perspective. I know, on your end, especially Morgan, really both of you, serving, volunteering, but junior achievement is a big one on your end personally.
Yeah, financial literacy is important, not only to this community, but to our future. So many of our inner city kids live in households that don't have a banking relationship, and establishing that change of habit, if you will, over generations is real important, and Junior Achievement's doing that slowly but surely, and I'm really proud of the work that we've been able to achieve there.
And there's a JA BizTown where it's like a little mini city, and they can elect a mayor, and they've got the businesses, and you can make BioSlime and do FedEx deliveries, but they can also be on the radio, which is the cool one.
There's a radio station there, and it is still the #1 applied for job at JA BizTown.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, for all due purposes, right? And
everybody wants to be the next Danny Bruns, let's face it.
Well, tell us, because obviously each one of them has their own handles in terms of how they're branded for each of the radio stations, but how can we go and get involved and be a part of all the good that you're doing with the different stations?
I would say any one of our websites for any station would be 981themax.com. They're pretty easy. Kicks106.com, 1035wrbo.com, and 989thebridge.com, and you can find anything you want, depending on what station you listen to, because I know everyone listens to one of those four. So whichever one's your favorite, go to that one.
Well, I love all you're doing. Thank you for coming on the show. Morgan, Danny, appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
When it comes to showing people the power of possibilities, the more we can expose them to new experiences, new skills and career paths, new people and places, the more dots we have to connect and to create new ideas, opportunities, and hope. Through organizations like Hope House, which is serving as a catalyst for lifelong change in the lives of those affected by HIV and poverty with their daycare, preschool, and social services, and the Memphis Jewish Community Center, which is focused on bringing all sides of our city together through physical fitness, cultural arts, and youth programming, we're exposed and have access to new opportunities for hope. And thanks to companies like Cumulus Media Memphis, which is using its radio stations and airwaves to highlight organizations and individuals giving back and to raise money and awareness for nonprofits, we can become better connected and empowered to become community catalysts to help power the good, which is what this show is all about. So thank you for watching The Spark. To learn more about each of the guests, to watch past episodes, and to share your stories of others leading by example, visit WKNO.org and click on the link for The Spark. We look forward to seeing you next month, and we hope that you continue joining with us to create a spark for the Mid-South.
Just like having relevant and accurate information is necessary to make sound hiring and lending decisions, being engaged in our community is important. DataFax is proud to support the positives and be a sponsor of The Spark.
Lipscomb and Pitts Insurance is honored to serve the Memphis community for over 60 years. We've always focused on supporting our community and believe in promoting the positives, encouraging engagement, and leading by example. Lipscomb and Pitts Insurance is proud to be a presenting sponsor of The Spark.